Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dr. Grewal. Good evening, Dr. Ananya. Welcome to all the elders today. We welcome all the elders on Elders First, yet another episode of Elders First Festival at Amoha. We welcome Dr. Ananya Chaudhary and Dr. Grewal. Dr. Ananya Chaudhary is a psychiatrist. We've had a couple of sessions earlier also along with Dr. Chaudhary and Dr. Grewal. Dr. Ananya Chaudhary has a vast experience of more than 13 years as a psychiatrist. She caters to every age group, right from kids to adolescents to adults to elderly, to all the age groups. And she's been working with many institutions as well as very well-known hospitals in India. Dr. Ananya has participated in various community health mental awareness programs, and she also handles the training classes for Delhi medical officers, counselors, as well as the nursing staff. We welcome you, Dr. Ananya Chaudhary, and Dr. Grewal will be moderating the session. No introduction required for Dr. Grewal. We all know him extremely well. And he is in fact a part of Amoha. And so today, again, again, very relevant topic, anxiety and depression, जिसके बारे में हमने पहले भी डॉक्टर अनन्या के साथ भी बात किया हुआ है. And as Dr. Grewal keeps on mentioning, to improve the quality of life, one should know कि हमें जो हमारे symptoms दिख रहे हैं, क्या ये symptoms किसी ailment के हैं, किसी condition के हैं, कि हमें वैसे ही लग रहा है. So anxiety and depression is also one such thing जिसमें बहुत सारे variety of symptoms हमें दिख सकते हैं. कोई चुप ज्यादा रहना शुरू कर देता है, कोई ज्यादा बोलना शुरू कर देता है, कोई ज्यादा सोना शुरू कर देता है, कोई ज्यादा खाना शुरू कर देता है. So all these are the various symptoms of anxiety and depression. So now I request Dr. Grewal and Dr. Ananya Chaudhary to kindly take the session forward. Welcome. Dr. Grewal, you're on mute, Dr. Grewal. And Dr. Ananya as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dr. MK, and Namaskar, and welcome, Dr. Ananya. We're talking about anxiety and depression. Wow. Dr. Ananya, how important it is for a medical person, me as a doctor, to deal with a patient who's either anxious or depressed. How important it is that I should not be anxious and depressed. There are certain questions, me as a professional, came to my mind, that if I myself are anxious, can I become prejudiced and think everybody else is prejudiced? If I'm depressed, will I become prejudiced for the benefit of all the elders? क्या मेरी सोच दूसरे के बारे में बदल जाएगी अगर मैं खुद ही anxious और depressed हूँ? Why I ask this question to the professional, to the expert, is because it is said that it is difficult at times for the individual to find out कि मैं anxious हूँ कि मैं depressed. So it is as difficult for the doctor also to find out कि वो depressed है कि anxious है. And do you know who notices it? The others notice. I'll share with you, मैं share करने को तैयार हूँ कि कई patient मेरे पास आते हैं, डॉक्टर साहब आपने एक patient डॉक्टर के पास भेजा था, बड़ा अजीब सा आदमी है, ढंग से बात ही नहीं कर रहा था. And lo behold, it turned out that that gentleman was actually depressed. So it is not that any human being can be away from this. It is as common, as simple as if you feel hungry. If everybody can feel hungry, anybody can be anxious and depressed. The question is, how does one find out? And अगर जब मुझे पता लगा, तो क्या मैं अपने आप को एक घटिया इंसान मानना शुरू कर लूं कि अरे बाप रे, मैं तो यार एंशियस हूँ, मैं तो डिप्रेस्ड हूँ. So can you imagine an elder person living alone and is told by a doctor from his chamber, after that chap charges 1,000 rupees from him, कहता 1,000 रुपया भी दे दे और तू डिप्रेस्ड हो गया फॉर लाइफ टाइम. वो कहता डॉक्टर मेरे से 1,000 रुपया भी ले लिया और मुझे डिप्रेशन भी दे दी, वापस पैसे दो, वापस कर दो. So these are many multifaceted challenges to deal with anxiety and depression. And my feeling is the biggest challenge is because there is no blood test, there is no instrument that can measure how much is anxiety and how much is depression. The whole disease is based on feelings, on behavior, on reactions. So it's a big challenge, Dr. Ananya. I mean, I admit involved in presence of all the elders. I'm here to always share. It took me some time, nearly about 10, 15 years ago. I think I've been to Dr. Ananya also to discuss my own emotions. I've been to Dr. Ananya and said, look, this is how I'm thinking. Because this is the human mind. Usko ye thodi pata, koi boundaries thodi pata hai. So I'll therefore, it's a challenge which we need to try and simplify. अभी मेरा चश्मा बहुत गंदा था, तो मुझे स्क्रीन गंदी नजर आ रही थी. मैंने अपना चश्मा अभी साफ किया, तो थोड़ी सी स्क्रीन साफ नजर आ गई. Similarly, it's a very difficult subject. It's a subject that confuses the mind. But our attempt again today is to try and help you address this problem because it affects quality of life in a very big way. See, I was reading this newspaper today, 3 days ago. I don't know how many of you have read it. Look at this. Quality of life. You see this line here? This QOL. So Government of India ने एक रिसर्च किया है और रिसर्च में उन्होंने कहा है that quality of life is going to be the yardstick के आप elders को देखभाल कर रहे हैं कि नहीं. और ये क्यों जरूरी है? Dr. Ananya, I'm just taking an extra minute before I invite you.
Sure.
जब भी हम एल्डर केयर के बारे में बात करते हैं इंडिया में, तो ये कहते हैं हमारे देश में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, ये तो वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड का प्रॉब्लम है. हमारे देश में ना माँ बाप को तो देखभाल करना, सेवा करना धर्म है. हाथ जोड़ के बोलता हूँ, हम भी जानते हैं कौन कितने लोग अपना धर्म निभा रहे हैं. So understand one thing. To say that it is धर्म, चोर जेलों में नहीं मिलते, सड़कों पे मिलते हैं. So Dr. Ananya, how you plan to address this very complex issue, which, as I said, and I want to repeat in front of everybody, one doesn't come to know that he's anxious or depressed. It is the other person who notices it, and there is a challenge for you to accept it. So welcome, Dr. Ananya. I hope I've not taken too much time.
No.
I hope I've not tried to become too much of an expert in your presence.
No, it was a good introduction to the topic.
Thank you.
So I'll just share my screen.
Slide देखने दे इधर आ जाओ. Yes.
So we are going to talk about anxiety and depression today. So the plan that I had in mind in terms of discussing the topic is that I'll talk about what basically, how can we identify what is depression, what is anxiety, right? And what are the symptoms by which we can identify it, number one. Number two, how can we distinguish it from, say, common sadness or just feeling momentarily anxious? I mean, how do we distinguish whether it is depression or it is something which is a normal reaction, right? Number two is, what are the myths surrounding these conditions? When do I need help? Where do I take help? And what does this help entail? Because when we talk about mental health, very little awareness is present, and wherever there is very little awareness, there are a lot of wrong ideas and opinions, and everybody seems to have one. So let's try and address these issues, and we can take up the questions as we move on, right? So when we talk about depression, what is depression? Number one, so I have certain statements which I've put forward, which everyone can see. I'm feeling sad and low. Am I depressed? I had a fight with my friends today and can't stop crying. Am I depressed? Sometimes I feel sad and have mood swings. Does that mean that I have depression? Now, is sadness and depression the same? And if not, what is depression? Now, see, when we talk about emotions, all of us have emotions, whether it's like, we feel sad, we feel happy, we feel anxious, we feel fearful, we feel jealous. All of that are normal human emotions, and all of us go through all of them. If something bad happens, we feel sad. If something good happens, we feel happy, we feel jealous at times, and all of that. So if something happens momentarily, something bad happens in our life, we feel sad or we cry, this doesn't mean that you are depressed, right? This is a normal emotion. If something good happens, you feel happy. Something bad happens, you feel sad. So feeling that does not mean that you're depressed. So that sadness does not necessarily mean you're depressed. Sadness is a part of depression, but we need to distinguish it. Now, the problem is that we use the word anxiety and depression very commonly in our language. आज मेरा मन अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, आज मैं डिप्रेस्ड हूँ, या मेरे साथ बहुत बुरा हो गया, आई एम डिप्रेस्ड, और शी इज डिप्रेस्ड. सो इट बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर अस टू अंडरस्टैंड वेदर दिस वर्ड डिप्रेशन दैट वी आर यूजिंग is just a expression of explaining that I'm not feeling good, or whether I'm actually feeling depressed. So I'm going to talk about what are the symptoms of depression and how can we identify it. So depression consists of depressed mood. Now, what do we mean by depressed mood? Now, when we say depressed mood, it means that I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling very low. And this means that I'm feeling like this most of the time. Then there is a loss of interest and enjoyment in daily activities or things that used to interest me earlier. Like I might have been interested in music, or I might have been interested in watching movies and all of that. And I have slowly lost interest in all of that. I don't enjoy all of those. So there is reduced energy, easy fatigability, and diminished, drive to do things. So what is important is that when we talk about depression, people may complain that, I'm feeling so lazy, I can't get up from bed, I can't do my daily activities, I don't feel energetic enough to do day-to-day activities. Then there is reduced concentration and attention. A lot of people will complain not of poor attention or concentration. What they're going to complain about is मेरी memory fail कर रही है, मुझे चीजें याद नहीं रहती. ठीक है, a lot of these may not actually be a memory problem. It may be a problem because you can't focus, you can't give attention to things, so you feel that your memory is failing, while actually what happens is you are unable to focus, so you're not retaining things into your mind, so obviously you can't remember them. Then there's ideas of guilt and unworthiness. So what the person feels is that I am become a burden to the family, I can't help people out, I've done so many things wrong, I'm not worthy of love, or I'm not worthy of respect, and I'm not worthy of anything, right? And there is a bleak and pessimistic view about future. Meaning, for instance, if I think about the future, कुछ अच्छा होना ही नहीं है, कुछ तो अच्छा होगा ही नहीं. You can't think anything positive about the future. Then there, some people may feel ideas of self-harm or suicide, and there people may have disturbed sleep and appetite. A lot of people tend to have lesser and lesser sleep, or even if they sleep for 7 to 8 hours, they don't feel refreshed at the end of it, or there may be a decrease in the appetite, significant weight loss, or some people even tend to overeat at times. To have all of those symptoms, but many of these symptoms are present continuously and throughout most of the days and throughout, at least 2 weeks, then we may consider that the person may be suffering from depression. Okay. Now I'll talk about two separate cases to make these things clear, because if we talk about the symptoms, it may be slightly confusing. So I'm going to talk about two separate cases. So we're talking about Miss A, who is around 20 years old, who is involved in a relationship with a guy. Now, what happens is Miss A is going through a difficult time in her relationship. So there have been frequent fights with her boyfriend. So every fight is followed by, an episode of crying and feeling low. Whereas whenever the relationship is slightly better, she's feeling better, she's going out, she's enjoying herself, enjoying with her friends. But whenever there is a conflict with the...
Dr. Ananya, is it the next slide?
No.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So whenever she is having a good phase in the relationship, she's happy, she's going out, and so on and so forth. So when I talk about Miss A, you have to realize that the feelings that she's going through, when she's going through a good phase in the relationship, she's happy, she's interactive, she's enjoying herself, she's going out with her friends, and everything seems to be fine. Whereas whenever there is a fight for a day, she feels low, she keeps crying, and she feels worried and all of that. Maybe she have a disturbance in her sleep. So in this situation, we would say that she is having a relationship problem where there have been some ups and downs in her mood. And, in that situation, we are not going to label her as depressed. Right? So we're going to talk about another case. We're talking about Mrs. D, who is around, let's say, 40 years of age, who is a married female with 2 children. Now, for the last, a month or so, she started feeling that the quality of sleep is very poor, in the sense that she may be sleeping for 7 to 8 hours, but when she wakes up, she is not feeling refreshed. She's finding it difficult to leave the bed in the morning, to make breakfast for her family, to do the household chores, which she used to do very easily. She doesn't find interest in watching the usual soap operas that she used to watch on television. She stopped talking to her friends or going out. And in terms of there are a lot of aches and pains in her body, difficult to do any activity. She gets irritable often and may scold her kids very frequently, and which is not very common of her. And it's very easy for her to start crying at the very minimal thing which is told to her. So the sensitivity has increased significantly. At times she feels that she's not helpful at all. She's become a burden to the family. She's unable to cook and do her chores, and she's scolding her children very easily. So there's a lot of guilt feeling in her, and somehow she feels that she's not going to get better at all. So the point that I'm trying to raise by giving the second example is when we're talking about Mrs. D, what is significant is for the last 1 month or so, the condition has been worsening over a period of time. The sleep has been disturbed. Her mood has been low. She has been, irritable at times. And there is a lot of tearfulness, feeling guilty, feeling negative about the future. There has been a disturbance in sleep, and somehow she's unable to change her state. So there are a high possibility that Mrs. D is going through a depressive episode. So I hope it's clear between what is a depressive episode and what is not. Now, the important thing which we have to remember here is that not necessarily that your life has to be, very bad, or there has to be significant stressors in your life for you to be depressed. So in context to that, I would like to address a few myths which are associated with depression. Number one is everyone goes through depression. This is not true. Everyone feels sad at times. Everyone may feel, low at times, or, worried at times, but not everyone goes through a depressive episode. Only people who are not strong suffer or take treatment for it. So this is the most important thing which people have to realize, that having a depressive episode has got nothing to do with weak character, weak mind, and all of those. You need to snap out of it. Now, this is one thing which all of us have to realize, that whenever somebody comes forward and tells us, I'm not feeling like doing anything, I'm feeling very sad, I can't do my daily activities, I feel like crying all the time, please don't tell the person to snap out of it. If they could, they would have done it long back. So it's very important to realize that you can't just snap out of it. The second thing, you have everything, you have no reason to be depressed. Now, having everything or not having everything does not mean you will be depressed. So this is what is important, that every one of us have to remember. Our lives were so hard, we were not depressed. So these are certain statements which people make, so we have to remember not to make those. Look at people who suffer so much, they are not depressed. It is a modern day trend to feel depressed, and mostly for rich people. So let me tell this very clearly, that depression does not have a particular strata of the society which get affected by depression. It can affect everyone and both the genders. There are a group of people who would say depression does not exist, but it's important to realize that depression is just not something which we talk about. It has been recognized as a legitimate illness. It is normal for elderly to be depressed. Now, this is something which we have and should address. Now, it is presumed that if you have crossed a particular age, say you've crossed the age of 60 or 65, or your children have grown up, or they have got married, it's like you have done whatever you have to do and you just wait for your time. Now, it's not true. And now you just stay at home, keep to yourself, keep praying, be religious, that's it. Now, it's very important to realize, whether you're 60, whether you're 65, whether you're 70, you have a life and you have a right to enjoy your life. You have a right to do all those things that you want to do. And just because you've crossed a particular age does not mean that it is normal for you to be depressed. No, it's not. You need to heal yourself naturally. Now, when you talk about somebody having fever, you don't tell the person you need to heal yourself naturally. You don't tell the person to snap out of it. So it's very important for us to understand that depression is a legitimate illness and a person cannot heal themselves naturally. You should not go to a psychiatrist. They give you medications which are dangerous and addicting. Once I start medication, I can never stop. There is no treatment for depression. So what is important here to realize is that when you have a fracture of your hand or your feet, you go to a doctor who treats that. You go to an orthopedics doctor. You don't go to a physician for that, right? If you have to get a surgery done, you don't go to, if you have to get your appendix removed, you don't go to an ENT doctor, you don't go to an eye specialist. So if you have a problem which may be depression or something related to your emotional health, it is important to go to a specialist who is a psychiatrist. The second thing is that they give you medication which are dangerous and addicting. Now you have to understand one thing, that any drug which is dangerous cannot be launched into a market. It cannot be brought into for common people use, because there are certain trials they have to go through. There are a certain level of response they have to demonstrate before any medication can be brought into the market. Then all medications are not addicting. There may be certain particular type of medication like sedatives or benzodiazepines which may be addicting if taken for a very long time and without the advice of a doctor and at a dose which is not prescribed. But not all medications are dangerous, and not everybody has to take medications lifelong. And yes, there is treatment for depression which is there and which is accepted and to which people respond. Now there's another statement which I've heard often, that medications for depression make a person more depressed. It is saying that suppose a medication for hypertension gives me more BP. Okay, so it doesn't make sense. So if you're given a medication to lower your BP, or somebody says that, people who have diabetes are given medication for diabetes and it worsens my diabetes or increases my sugar level. So what usually happens is that people think that all mental illnesses are depression, which is not true. The mental health illnesses are varied and different kinds, but people usually use the term depression for all those illnesses. So one, when you have depression, you get treated for depression, and sometimes what happens is that a single medication may not do, so you may need a higher dose, or you may need a combination of medication, just like in hypertension, that if you're taking a particular medication and you don't show sufficient response, they may increase the dose or they may add on another medication. So a treatment involves similar to that. So I hope we have addressed the issues that medications are not dangerous and addicting. Of course, you have to take it on advice of a practitioner. You should not be starting or stopping them at your whim and fancy. Secondly, once I start the medication, I cannot stop. It's not like that. It depends upon the type of illness you have and the severity. The medication will go on for a particular time frame till you're better. And there is no treatment for depression, whereas depression has a very standard process of treatment which is accepted. Then we move on to the next topic, which is anxiety. Do all of us feel anxious? How do I know that I'm anxious? And what do I need to help for, when do I need help for my anxiety? Sorry. So do all of us feel anxious? Now, all of us have experienced anxiety in our lives. Maybe before facing an exam, maybe before facing an interview, maybe when we were going through a difficult time in our life, or somebody at home has been ill or not keeping well, or some mishap has happened. So we feel anxious on and off during certain episodes in our life, which is a natural response. But when do I say that this anxiety is a problem? And first and foremost, what is anxiety? So when I talk about anxiety, we'll talk about it in terms of your thought, in terms of your physical reaction, in terms of your emotion, and all of those. So at the level of the thought, now what people will tell you is that I keep thinking all the time. My brain doesn't stop at all. Even when I'm sleeping at night, it feels that the brain is still working. And what do I end up thinking about? What if something, I'll talk about the recent times since COVID has set in. What if I get COVID? What if my family members get COVID? What if something happens to them? What if, that what if, some with a negative connotation. So at a thought level, you may keep thinking about things again and again and again. You may keep worrying, and you may keep thinking about the what ifs with a negative content. So there is overthinking, there is thinking of negative outcome, and there is constant worrying. Now, at a physical level, now a lot of people with anxiety, they keep going to the gastroenterologist, they may go to a cardiologist, they may go to various physicians with certain symptoms. I'll tell you how. Now, a lot of people with anxiety will have an abdominal problem. It may be severe acidity, or it may be a problem of irregular bowels or something like that. And so they keep going to the gastroenterologist repeatedly again and again. The doctor will treat them, and over a period of time will tell them that the problem is mostly related to stress. Now, there may be other people who go to the cardiologist. So what happens is, when you feel anxious, there may be a feeling of tightness around the chest. There may be, a very rapid increase in your heartbeat, so that you can feel your heart beating all the time. You may end up going to the cardiologist repeatedly saying that there is something wrong, I'm going to have a heart attack or something like that. The doctor will examine you, will do all the tests, and may later on come back and tell you that it is related to anxiety or stress. And a lot of people keep going to doctors with various complaints, like there are aches and pains in the body, there is some sensation in the body, I can't rest, or I feel some sensation in the legs. So they may keep visiting different doctors time and time again. So in terms of physical symptoms, you may feel the heartbeat, you may feel a difficulty in taking your breath, there may be a tightness around the chest, there may be, a butterflies in the stomach, there may be some pins and needles sensation in the body. Some people may feel a bit of dizziness, some difficulty, I mean, some instability of gait, and all of those. So there may be many such symptoms which people may experience in terms of physical symptoms of anxiety. Now, at the level of mood and functioning, so what happens is that when we talk about the mood, we have to realize that the thought, the emotion and behavior are correlated. So if you are anxious, so the mood is going to be low, or the mood is going to be irritable. Every little thing may bother you. So it is common for people to, start crying at a very little provocation, because they feel overwhelmed, because they feel I can't deal with this situation. Or they may be very irritable, getting into frequent fights because they feel overwhelmed very easily. Or you may be in a negative kind of a mood, you don't feel good, and the function is hampered because you can't focus on things, your attention and concentration is very poor. So I can't focus on anything, I can't get anything done, I keep worrying, but I can't get those things done. And at the level of biological functions, so what happens is sleep may be disturbed, meaning it's difficult to fall asleep, it may take you hours to fall asleep, or there may be multiple breaks in your sleep. And even if you may wake up very early in the morning, like you go to sleep at around 10 o'clock, you keep tossing and turning in bed, you keep worrying till 1 o'clock, you fall asleep at 1 o'clock, and by 3 or 4 o'clock you're awake again. Now, people with anxiety find it very difficult to eat. So what happens? They feel as if whenever they try to eat, as if they're choking. So they can't swallow things. They feel, there is a constant acidity or heartburn whenever they eat, as if the stomach is bloating. So they feel afraid to eat also. So and there may be frequent visits to the toilet, like they keep they may lie down on the bed and keep going to the toilet again and again, as if they want to you know they're going to urinate, or they're going to pass stool. They may or may not, but they keep going again and again and again. So these are certain symptoms which people with anxiety face. Now the important thing is that when we talk about anxiety, there are different types of anxiety. Like there are certain people who are okay otherwise, but when you put them into an closed room, or you put them into a lift, or they have to travel by flight, or specific situation, or they are at a height, then they start feeling very anxious. So these are people who have anxiety in specific situations, whether it's an enclosed room, or it may be a height, or it may be a flight, or it may be a lift. So these are people who may be otherwise functioning well, but in specific situations they have anxiety. Then there may be people who have a sudden attack of severe anxiety, which we call panic. Like there may be very sudden increase in the heartbeat. They start feeling as if they're going to have a heart attack, or something bad is going to happen, which lasts for around 15 to 20 minutes, and they have to rush to the emergency with a feeling that something bad is going to happen. So this is a type of anxiety which we know as panic attack or panic disorder. Then there are certain group of people who have a generalized anxiety. That is, they feel anxious all the time, nothing bad has to happen, they have that foreboding feeling that something bad is going to happen, I can't relax, they keep worrying all the time. So this is what is, they feel anxious most of the time, or 24 hours. So that is what we know as a generalized anxiety, right? So even when we talk about anxiety, it's like an umbrella term which includes a lot of other smaller groups of anxiety of different kinds. This is just to give an idea, I'll not go into details of all of that. So we'll come to the most important question. If I know I have depression, or if I know I have anxiety, when do I need to start treatment? So the most important thing to realize is that when I start having symptoms which are causing me trouble, which is making it difficult for me to function, which is making it difficult for me to do my day-to-day activity, which is bothersome and disabling, which have become continuous, and which is affecting my health, it is time to realize that it is a problem and I need to take help. So what happens if I don't take treatment? I mean, it's a choice, right? I may decide to take treatment. I may not. I may decide, that, going to a psychiatrist is dangerous. Taking mental help, I mean, help for my mental health issues, is feeling that I'm weak. So I don't need to do that. I'll heal myself. So certain things which is important to realize is that, having a healthy lifestyle, doing yoga, doing meditation, having positive thoughts, reading positive things. These are all part of healthy lifestyle, positive lifestyle. But if you already have a diagnosable depression or anxiety, they alone are not sufficient to get you out of that situation. These things, yoga, meditation, healthy lifestyle, and all of that are important to maintain positive health, to help you prevent get all of this. But once you have a disorder, they alone may not be sufficient to help you out of that condition. So if I decide not to take help, what happens? Now, what happens is, if I'm anxious all the time, right? I can't sleep well, I can't eat well, I feel anxious all the time, I can't focus on anything. What is going to happen? My health is going to suffer. People with anxiety may end up losing 10-15 kilos of their weight. They may suffer from severe anxiety, severe gastritis, right? They may neglect their health issues, or they may have several health issues, or they may be worsening of their underlying condition like hypertension, diabetes, and all of those. So your health may start to deteriorate. There is a loss of general well-being. So what we're talking about, Dr. Grewal had mentioned about quality of life. So what is important to realize is, if we neglect all of this, if we neglect our problem, it is going to deteriorate and cause a worsening of our quality of life. Then maintaining daily function is going to be practically impossible, and there is going to be loss of hope and happiness. So next, what does treatment involve, and who are the people who are equipped to handle mental health issues? So when we talk about mental health professionals, there are different group of people, but I'm going to talk about two specific group. One is a psychiatrist, who is a medical doctor who has done specialization in psychiatry, who will diagnose, treat you, give you medication, and advise you about other things. And the second group of professionals are clinical psychologists. So they are people who have done their masters, their bachelor's, masters in psychology, and then done their MPhil in clinical psychology. So they are trained to give various therapeutic modalities like CBT or other therapies to help you, I mean, counsel you out of that situation. So when we talk about treatment for depression or anxiety, it involves mainly three specific groups of processes. One is the medication, one is the therapy, and one is the lifestyle changes. Now, one thing which I wanted to mention is that when we talk about like depression or anxiety or mental health issue, like Dr. Grewal had mentioned earlier, that we don't have a blood test. We don't have a specific test which is going to show you that, yeah, that you have depression, you don't have depression. Just like, you diagnose somebody that, yeah, you have COVID, you don't have COVID. Now, in terms of mental health issues, there are the observation of the person's behavior. There are certain criteria laid down which have to be assessed if the person has all of those. And there are certain scales which can be applied to assess whether the person has a mild, moderate, or a severe condition. So you can, to some extent, quantify the level of the problem in terms of mild, moderate, or severe. And depending on that, you can see whether the person can be given just therapy or a combination of medication and therapy. Lifestyle changes usually involve a healthier lifestyle, sleeping on time, waking up on time, exercise, yoga, meditation, positive, maybe reading positive books and all of those. And so a combination of all of these, medication, therapy meaning counseling, and lifestyle changes help a person to come out of the condition in a better way. Now, there is another thing. Sometimes your depression or anxiety may arise out of certain stressful situations in your life. Now, if we can modify the environmental factors, it is good. If we can't, at least we'll have to focus on getting you better, increasing your coping so that you can deal with the situation in a better way. So with that, I would like to stop at this point, and I would go back to Dr. Deval and to discuss further, or if we have any queries, we can address those. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Ananya, for giving a comprehensive panoramic view of such a difficult subject. Well, the important part which you have described is, I think, what really struck one point was, you don't snap out. अब आप explain करने के लिए snap out नहीं होता. See, if somebody comes and says, मेरे को आज बड़ा उदासी सी हो रही है, अरे कुछ नहीं, ऐसे ही होता है, सबको हो जाता है. This tendency of saying that don't worry, you will snap out, is a very dangerous advice. And I come back to my question to you, Dr. Ananya, to begin with, that if somebody comes, or if I notice that Ajkal he doesn't behave the same way as he did before, how do I approach a person and open a dialogue on suggesting that you have depression?
See, usually people don't even realize that it's a problem. Now, if you are a family friend, or if you are a relative or somebody who feels that there is some change, now the easiest way to say is that, I can understand that you're going through a difficult time. You seem to be very bothered about certain problems, and even, of course, you may have a family member or somebody else who has gone through that, or a friend who has gone through that, and they had consulted a specialist to discuss about their problem, and it worked out very well. I would say that would be the best approach. That ऐसा लग रहा है कि ना अब बहुत परेशान हो, कुछ anxiety या कुछ ऐसा लग रहा है, या whether if it's depression, then you're going through all of that. And of course, either I have had people close to me who have gone through that, and with help they have got better. So that, I would say, is the best approach. There may be numerous others, but then I would say this is one of the approach. They may not listen to it at first go, but that's an idea which is put into the mind.
Now, another question which I want to ask you. Very often it is felt that if somebody has had depression, is he cured, or is his depression controlled for the rest of his life?
This is a very important question. See, for this, I would say that the concept of cure in the entire field of medical science is limited to certain conditions. Let's say if you have an infection, you have a bacterial infection, you have been given an antibiotic, and so, after that, you're cured of that bacterial infection, meaning that you don't have it now at all. Or you have a problem in the gallbladder, or you have an appendicitis, so you get the organ removed by surgery, so you're cured. You cannot have a problem. You can have a problem anywhere else, but you're not going to have a problem in the appendix because it's removed. So it's a concept of cure. For most other conditions in medical science, the concept is not of cure, but of treatment. Because if you're talking about depression, or we're talking about anxiety, or we're talking about hypertension, or we're talking about diabetes, what happens is the cause of the illness may be multifold. And what happens is, with treatment, you can manage it. But what happens is, you cannot get into the brain, cut a particular segment of the brain, or do something that portion is healed forever, and you cannot have it again. So the concept of cure is not there, but with treatment, people improve. But I want to clarify one point here, that a person may have a single depressive episode in their life, they can be treated and may never have depression again. Right? And there may be people who may have multiple depressive episodes during their lifetime. So it varies.
It varies. देखिए, ये बात समझने की है हमारे एल्डर्स को कि क्योंकि अब एक बीमारी है गठिया, आपने सबने सुना होगा गठिया, रूमेटॉइड आर्थराइटिस। रूमेटॉइड आर्थराइटिस किसी किसी मरीज को बहुत ज्यादा तकलीफ देती है, लेकिन 10 में से 6 लोगों को हम कहते हैं कि गठिया सो गया है, एंड दे मे नॉट हैव पेन थ्रू आउट देयर लाइफ। लेकिन गठिए के लिए वो मरीज बार बार जाके पूछेंगे, हमारे पास आते हैं, मेरा गठिया दोबारा तो नहीं हो गया, मेरे दांत में दर्द हो गया, मुझे गठिया तो नहीं हो गया। लेकिन क्योंकि डिप्रेशन के साथ, डिप्रेशन की बीमारी के साथ एक स्टिग्मा है, एक उसके साथ जुड़ी हुई एक घृणा है, एक डर है। जैसे टीबी के साथ डर है, टीबी का इलाज होके हम कहते हैं ठीक हो गया, लेकिन लाइफ में कभी कभी टीबी दोबारा भी हो जाती है। क्योंकि डिप्रेशन, मानसिक रोग के बारे में लोग चर्चा नहीं करते, तो उनको इसके बारे में बात करने से शर्म आती है। ये बात मैं यहाँ बहुत जोर से कह रहा हूं। डॉक्टर अनन्या ने अभी बहुत स्पष्ट में बोला है कि मेंटल जो मानसिक रोग हैं, डिप्रेशन और एंजाइटी के, हो सकता है आपको लाइफ में एक बार हुआ हो और कभी भी ना हो, लेकिन याद रखिए कि हो सकती है। डरिए मत और शर्म मत खाइए। ये मत कहिए कि मैं ठीक हो गया। सबसे पहला तो मैं ये सबको बताना चाहता हूं कि दोबारा हो सकती है। दूसरा, डॉक्टर अनन्या ने एक बात कही कि माना यह जाता है कि अब तो हम बड़े हो गए, अब तो उदास हो ही जाएंगे। तो ये जो एटीट्यूड है, दैट डिप्रेशन इज पार्ट ऑफ एजिंग। डॉक्टर अनन्या, दिस आई वांट टू अगेन आस्क यू, अनवर्दीनेस, मुझे अब कोई काम नहीं रहा, नौकरी छूट गई। I got a call from a very, very senior person yesterday. He was a very senior officer in the Prime Minister's office till about 2 years ago. And now he's alone, means he's in his family. But कहते मुझे कोई मिलना ही नहीं आता। अब मैं पहले इतना बिजी होता था, 20 लोग मेरे चारों तरफ घूमते थे। तो मैंने कहा आपको दिक्कत क्या है? And his complaint was कि मुझे लैट्रिन नहीं साफ होती। Now he rang up to tell me कि लैट्रिन नहीं साफ होती, and after 3 minutes he was only talking about कि आजकल मेरे पास काम नहीं है। तो देखिए ये भी मानसिक रोग है। तो डॉक्टर अनन्या, स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन टू यू, क्या डिप्रेशन हर किसी को जो एज कर रहे हैं होना ही होना है?
ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है जो मैं क्लियर करना चाह रही हूँ कि it is not, I mean, everybody who ages is not going to be depressed. Let me put it very clearly. And simply because you're aging doesn't mean you're going to be depressed, and it is normal. It is not normal. Depression at any age is a disorder. It is not natural.
See, बहुत क्लियर शब्दों में बोला है, किसी भी उम्र में अगर उदासी की बीमारी हो, उदासी का भाव हो, उदासी की फीलिंग हो, तो उसको एबनॉर्मल माना जाएगा। उम्र के लिहाज से उसको नॉर्मल मत मानिए, क्योंकि उसको आप जब इलाज नहीं कराएंगे तो 10 बीमारियां और जुड़ेंगी। That is important. Somebody has asked a question, Dr. Ananya. Do hormonal changes cause depression?
See, this is a very important question here. So there are certain conditions, जैसे in case of, specifically I'll talk in terms of females. So there are 2 to 3 phases in your life where you may be more prone to emotional changes and emotional problem, right? One is during your pregnancy, the postpartum period, and perimenopausal period. There are a lot of hormonal changes, and a lot of females, they suffer from mental health issues during this age. Another thing is surrounding the menstruation also. Around the menses, a lot of people may have, PMS, like people have. There are a lot of mood swings, and some people may have very severe severe changes in mood around their menses, then around the during pregnancy and after childbirth. So postpartum, a lot of females go through postpartum blues, postpartum depression, and a lot of symptoms. So it is very important to be aware of that and to address those issues, because I have seen a lot of mothers who are depressed post having their children, and they feel very guilty about it. They have a lot of negative thoughts, usko leke bahut guilt hota hai, bahut suffering hoti hai, they are unable to take care of themselves and their children. So is cheez ko aware hona, usko address karna bahut important hai. And another important phase is around the perimenopausal, right? Before menopause, immediately after that, there are a lot of hormonal changes and a lot of mood changes which happens. This is in females. But another thing about anxiety, I would mention that thyroid imbalance. Thyroid imbalance also leads to a lot of mood changes. Females are more prone to thyroid related issues than men, and thyroid can affect your mood. And if you have a high you have a hyperthyroidism, meaning some imbalance, then also you may have some symptoms we may mimic like anxiety, like the pulse rate may be high, you may be restless, you may be anxious. So certain hormonal changes may also produce symptoms like that. So we usually get the people to get certain tests done at the outset to rule out certain conditions.
Right. So that is important. So now that means hormonal changes can lead to depressive feeling. लेकिन वो हर कोई में होगा या सिलेक्टिव कुछ लोगों में होगा?
वो हर कोई में नहीं होगा. There may be a few people.
So that is important. कि hormonal changes can cause depressive feeling, but in those people जिनमें की depression वैसे भी हो रहा था.
हाँ, to some extent I would say yes.
So please understand. So अगर आपको जैसे कहा ये जाए कि पहले वहां पेट्रोल पड़ा हुआ था और किसी ने माचिस की तीली फेंक दी, that is what happens. So everybody can't deal. उस टाइम ये जो कंडीशंस बताई डॉक्टर अनन्या ने चाइल्ड बर्थ में, तो उसमें इंसान की बहुत सारी भावनाएं उभरती हैं और वो भावनाएं कई दफा कंट्रोल नहीं हो पाती और इसलिए वो डिप्रेशन में, पहले से जो डिप्रेशन में जा सकते थे लेकिन ठीक चल रहे थे, मतलब जैसे किसी की गाड़ी में अगर टायर में थोड़ा हवा कम है तो गाड़ी चल रही है, लेकिन अगर बहुत ज्यादा गड्ढा आ जाए तो गाड़ी बैठ जाएगी. So somebody is asking a question, how do you identify a genuine anxiety attack?
See, it will be very, I may tell you the symptoms, but it may be difficult for anybody to understand. But I'll just say, when you talk about genuine anxiety attack, what it means is that, sudden there will be a surge of restlessness and anxiousness. मतलब एक बेचैनी सी शरीर में feel होती है. Some people may feel a tightness in the chest, heartbeat बहुत fast होता है. Some people may even complain of a pain in the chest, and ऐसा लगता है कि सांस जैसे अंदर नहीं आ रही है, या तो भाग के बाहर जाओ या तो भाग के हॉस्पिटल जाओ. There may be some pins and needles sensation in the body, जैसे शरीर में कुछ लहर सी दौड़ रही है, गर्म ठंडे का एहसास हो सकता है. But mostly the feeling which is there is कुछ हो जाएगा मुझे immediately, या तो heart attack हो जाएगा, या I'll go crazy, or something bad is going to happen. So usually that is the feeling. It may be difficult for an individual to identify, but even if you go to a physician or a doctor, they may help you out. Usually they'll do an ECG or to rule out some cardiac illnesses, which is not a bad thing. Sometimes heart related condition may also give you palpitation and all of that. So they'll see that, they'll check out, and they may tell you कि नहीं heart ठीक है, बाकी ठीक है, कुछ और problem नहीं है. So there, in this situation, there is a high possibility that it was an anxiety attack rather than a heart related or cardiology related issue.
I think that is important. मैं सबको ये explain कर दूं, किसी ने जिसने ये कन्ना जी ने पूछा, नीलम जी ने, कि how do you differentiate? देखिए, कुछ चीजें हैं जो एंजाइटी का जेन्युइन एंजाइटी अटैक होता है, उनको एक तो समय नहीं पता लगता, दूसरा जो जेन्युइन पैनिक अटैक होता है वो अकेले में भी आ जाता है. जो ड्रामा कर रहे होते हैं वो हमेशा चाहते हैं कि मेरे आसपास 4 लोग हो जिसको मैंने दिखाना चाहता हूँ या दिखानी चाहती हूँ, वो लोग तो हो वहां पे. अगर मैं बैठा अकेला बैठा घबराहट 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 करूं तो मुझे कोई देख नहीं रहा, तो मेरा काम मतलब जो नकली पैनिक अटैक है उसका तो पर्पस कुछ और है ना। तो जो वो पर्पस दिखाना है तो वो किसी के सामने ही करेगा, अकेला नहीं करेगा। तो जनरली इट इज यू कैन मेक आउट, एंड एज डॉक्टर अनन्या सेड कि हॉस्पिटल जाइए, वो चेकअप हो जाएगा तो पता भी लग जाएगा। So, Neelu ji, if you're there, you were very keen that you wanted to share an experience. Neelu Srivastav from Jaipur.
Gaurav, can you give the audio rights to her, please? Neelu ma'am, please raise your hand.
Dr. Ananya,
Yeah, sorry.
quite a few people, patients, who have had depression का इलाज and are now feeling better. क्या सच्चे मरीज दूसरे का इलाज करने के काबिल है?
Let's put it this way, somebody who has a previous जिनको पहले डिप्रेशन हो चुका है या कोई अदर मेंटल हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम हो चुका है, so I would say they could be a good support system in terms of guiding people to get help, but I wouldn't say that they could treat people with depression. मतलब कहने का मतलब है आप सपोर्ट इस तरीके से दे सकते हैं कि understanding them, being supportive of them, guiding them to the right place to get help, and forming a support group so that you can understand each other's problem and encourage each other. But I won't say that you can treat somebody with the same condition.
मैंने स्पेसिफिकली ये क्वेश्चन इसलिए पूछा कि कई लोग कहते हैं मैंने इलाज कराया, मैं तुम्हारा इलाज कर दूंगा. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't try it. Do not try giving medication क्योंकि आपकी दवाई हुई थी. That is very dangerous. वो खतरनाक है. हाँ, डॉक्टर नन्ने ने साफ बोला, आप क्योंकि समझ रहे हैं कि आपको इलाज से कैसे फायदा हुआ, तो आप उस पेशेंट के सपोर्ट में आ सकते हैं अंडर द गाइडेंस ऑफ एन एक्सपर्ट. यू कैन बी पार्ट ऑफ द सपोर्ट टीम, बट डोंट ट्राई एंड स्टार्ट ट्रीटमेंट. मैंने ये दवाई खाई थी, तुम भी दवाई खा लो. मैंने क्रोसिन खाई थी, तुम भी क्रोसिन खा लो. अरे उदास हो ना, मैं जब भी उदास होता हूँ थोड़ी सी ये गोली खा लेता हूँ. बहुत खतरनाक.
There's a question regarding hallucinations. What is hallucination?
What is hallucination? Is it something in relation with depression?
See, to put simply, let's put it this way, that suppose there is an object in front of you. Suppose आपके सामने ग्लास पड़ा हुआ है, आपको भी दिख रहा है, मुझे भी दिख रहा है, ठीक है? So that is normal thing. Now, when we talk about a hallucination in terms of आंखों के तरफ से visual, तो इसका मतलब है कि आपके सामने कुछ भी नहीं रखा हुआ है, तब भी आपको ग्लास दिख रही है. To put it simply, what hallucination means is that you can see things which are not present there, or you can hear voices or sounds which are not present. I mean, दूसरों को नहीं सुनाई दे रहा है, तो वो चीज exist नहीं करती है, लेकिन आपको दिख रही है या सुनाई दे रहा है, उसको hallucination बोलते हैं. तो जैसे कुछ लोगों को होता है कि जैसे आसपास में कोई नहीं होता, लेकिन उनको लगता है कि कोई उनसे बात कर रहा है या उनके बारे में बात कर रहा है या उनको कुछ गालियां दे रहे हैं, तो जिसको हम बोलते हैं ऑडिटरी हेलुसिनेशन. तो that is what is hallucination.
Hallucination is symptom of depression.
No, hallucination is not a common symptom of depression. Sometimes people with depression may have it when they have associated some other psychotic symptoms, but a classical condition mein depression mein hallucination is not common.
If the reason of anxiety is known, then also is it good to see a doctor? What he's trying to say is that I know the reason for anxiety. If you know the reason for anxiety,
do you still?
देखिए, एक बात समझिए बंसल जी, आपको डॉक्टर अनन्या ने मुझे सुई चुभाई और आपको भी सुई चुभाई. आप तो ऐसे उंगली मल के, आपको दर्द हो रहा है, सुई से दर्द होता है, तो कारण पता है ना आपको, तो आपने तो यूं मला, फूंक मारी और चुप करके बैठ गए, और मैं अपनी उंगली लेके भाग के बाहर निकल गया, मर गया मर गया मर गया मर गया मर गया. तो क्या मुझे दर्द ज्यादा हुआ या उसी दर्द को हम दोनों ने अलग अलग रिएक्ट किया. So one is a reaction to the same pain. So what you're trying to say, if the anxiety is known, reason is known, but if you can't control the reaction, that means you need help. So if you can't control the reaction to the cause, पता है आपको क्या है, but आपसे बर्दाश्त नहीं हो रहा, आप घबराहट में जा रहे हैं, तो आपको मदद की जरूरत है. I think they have. Is depression permanent problem or comes time to time?
Yeah, so we have already discussed about it. So it is not a permanent problem. So the point is, ऐसा हो सकता है कि किसी को लाइफ टाइम में कभी भी डिप्रेशन ना हो, और किसी को लाइफ टाइम में एक बार डिप्रेशन हो, और किसी को लाइफ टाइम में मल्टीपल टाइम्स हो और चला जाए. ठीक है, but there may be certain few people who may have a chronic condition like that, right? But it's rare. Usually it's episodic.
और देखिए, जो मानसिक रोग होते हैं, उनमें एंजाइटी, डिप्रेशन और 3-4 और किस्म के रोग भी होते हैं, जिनको हम शिजोफ्रेनिया कहते हैं, दूसरी बीमारियां होती हैं. तो मानसिक रोग में डॉक्टर अनन्या, the demarcation is not so black and white. You can have shades of all types of diseases, isn't it?
You can have a mixture, लेकिन usually you have a primary diagnosis. जैसे अगर हम बोले कि कुछ conditions are regarded as, I mean classically we don't, मतलब पहले follow करते थे, आजकल नहीं बोलते हैं, but अगर majorly हम बोले, actually when you talk about mental illnesses, there are several illnesses, but we talk about only a few. तो उसमें भी अगर हम बोले तो they can be divided into major mental illness and minor mental illnesses. So we talk about depression, various anxieties, adjustment disorders, somatoform disorders. All of these will come into a neurotic spectrum of minor mental disorders. Those which like illnesses like schizophrenia, bipolar and all will come into a major mental illness. So you know that
Good.
kind of a...
Now nearing the conclusion, आप
Yes.
सबने, मैंने स्टार्ट इस सवाल से किया था कि मुझे कैसे पता लगेगा, तो मुझे शायद नहीं पता चलेगा, लेकिन जितने सिम्टम्स डॉक्टर अनन्या ने गिनवाए हैं, लॉस ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, थकावट, ये कई दफा दूसरे लोग आपके बारे में नोटिस करेंगे. आई एम रिपीटिंग, योर फ्रेंड्स, योर रिलेशंस, योर फैमिली पीपल विल कंप्लेन कि आजकल आप पहले तो बहुत फिट होते थे. तो रिमेंबर, द फर्स्ट ऑब्जर्वेशन ऑफ चेंज इन योर बिहेवियर एंड योर मूड आपके परिवार या आपके दोस्त नोटिस करते हैं. मेरी सिर्फ आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि कोई अगर आपको ये बात कहे तो प्लीज उसको सबसे पहले उम्र का नाम देके मत टालिए. सबसे पहले, अरे अब तो 70 साल के हो गए, कुछ करना नहीं है, तो उदास तो हो ही जाते हैं. नो, नॉट अलाउड. डॉक्टर अनन्या फर्स्ट मैसेज, उम्र के साथ से डिप्रेशन नहीं होता. सेकंड, जब कोई आप एल्डर्स के लिए जब कोई चेंज ऑफ बिहेवियर आपको नोटिस करके आपको कुछ बोले, उसको प्लीज निग्लेक्ट मत करिए. Don't take it insultingly. Don't take it in a way कि तुम कौन होते हो बोलने वाले, क्योंकि नजर ही दूसरे को आएगा, आपको नहीं पता चलेगा. जब आपको पता लगेगा तो बहुत देर हो चुकी है. So remember, mental health is more picked up by your friends and family. It is not compulsory for everybody to have a depression as you age. And it is treatable and it is manageable within your limits. Anything else, Dr. Ananya, before?
Yeah, so one thing which I would like to mention is that be aware of your physical and your mental health, which is important. And दूसरी बात है, if somebody tells you that they are not feeling good, they are feeling sad, they don't feel energetic, they don't they are not feeling good, be aware that this may be a cry for help. अगर आप रियलाइज कर रहे हैं कि वो पर्सन डिप्रेस्ड है या एंग्शियस है, ट्राई टू हेल्प दैट पर्सन इंस्टेड ऑफ जस्ट saying snap out of it. And secondly, depression in any age group cannot be a normal response, right? If it is a depressive episode, it is a condition which needs treatment. And lastly, I would say that your physical and mental health are not separate. Agar aap mentally unwell hai, it is also going to affect your physical health. So a well rounded care of your health is important, whether physical or mental.
I think, Ananya, this is a nice comment. If people point out कि मुझे कोई तकलीफ है, it aggravates my problem more. So which person would get irritated or affected if somebody tells me, आजकल आपका mood ठीक नहीं है? Under what circumstances will I start feeling bad or get annoyed?
We may feel bad in the sense that it has become
Does it signify my mental health condition? अगर मुझे बुरा लगे,
हाँ, मुझे बुरा लगेगा अगर लोग पॉइंट आउट करेंगे, क्योंकि उस स्टेट में ऐसा लगेगा मुझे कि मतलब now people can also notice. Now people can also notice. So this condition is getting.
Now please understand the answer. कि अगर कोई आपको बोल रहा है, what you need to accept is that the problem you have is being noticed by the others. So therefore, that is the time to seek help. Seeking help is a very, very big challenge because most people feel मैं तो इतने साल गुजारा किया, मैंने बहुत मुश्किल काम किए, मैंने बहुत कठिन सिचुएशन से निकला, ये क्या चीज है, इससे भी निकल जाएंगे, लड़ लेंगे. It doesn't work. So anyway, thank you very much, Dr. Ananya, for your time and your guidance and your most lucid presentation. I hope all of you will agree that the presentation will definitely help you. Maybe to begin with, ये बात एक मैसेज बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग है कि आपको खुद नहीं पता चलेगा कि आपको कोई मेंटल हेल्थ इशू है, दूसरे लोग पहले देखेंगे. जिस दिन आपको लगे कि there is a problem, आपने बहुत देर कर दी. So thank you very much, and back to you, Dr. Kalu.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ananya. Thanks for giving us time, and thanks for putting great light on various aspects of mental health, which are so important. And most of our elders, as you rightly said, most of us feel that we don't have a problem, but it's just that the other people notice, and when the other people notice, it is very important for us to take cognizance of that and go ahead and meet a psychiatrist like you. Thank you so much, Dr. Grewal. Thank you so much, Dr. Ananya.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Thank you.